Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the open book. I hope everyone has had a fantastic day today. I had to cut my other device off. Thank you. I apologize for that um, echo back there. But thank you all so much for being patient and for joining this evening. I hope everyone had a fantastic Tuesday today. I know that I have, and I'm so excited to be here this evening. Oh my goodness, we have a lot to discuss, okay? And I am ready to get into it. But before we do, let's see who we have here so far. Hey, Ree. Oh my goodness. Thank you for joining. She said, Hey, open book. I know I'm early. Just stopping through to hit the like button and to show my support. Love you and see you later. Thank you so much, Reed, for all of your continuous support. I really appreciate it. Hey, Aries Black. Hey, sis. Thank you for joining. Esco is in the house. How are you doing, brother? I'm so happy that you're on here today. Who else do we have? Humble Meat Hype is in the building. Queen Unique, welcome, sis. Thank you for joining. Shelly Shell is in the building. Hey, sis. Lolo, oh Lolo, you made it tonight. I am so happy that you made it. Okay, insider. Thank you for joining, sis. I really appreciate it. Esco, what is happening with you? Now you got to get into this topic, Esco. Okay, we got to play catch up tonight, so you'll be ready. Okay, y'all. I am so excited. Now, notice in the chat, if you didn't see it, I have a $20 super chat, super sticker goal tonight. So if you want to be a part of helping me reach that goal, I would greatly appreciate it. Your kindness is appreciated. Thank you so much. All right, so who's driving? Who said they were driving, Aries? Somebody said they were driving. Well, whoever it was, be safe out there. Thank you, Esco. Okay, so y'all, we're gonna get right into it. So we've been talking about reacting to some of the videos of Rose Miller from the Queen of Kings. Okay, and tonight I want to kind of shift our focus again for part 3 of the mom effects because her mom has done an interview. Okay, and I told y'all before that I did purchase a copy of the book. Oh my goodness. Some people were like, oh, I'm not going to purchase that book. Well, I did. You know, I love to read and I'm a fellow author. And if you didn't see in the chat, if you would like to purchase my book, The Common Thread, it is available on Amazon.com. So you are welcome to click that link and purchase your copy tonight. Okay. But before we get into this interview and the book, okay, there are a couple of things that I do want to talk about and discuss this week from some things that were a bit concerning that I noticed with Miss Rose. Hey, Dreamy Girl. Hey, sis. Thank you for joining tonight. Now, remember this live is for educational and entertainment purposes only. And y'all know how I do. I'm real talk, but I do it in a way to not try to offend anyone. So anything I say is for constructive feedback or some, just some tips and advice. Okay. Now I was on her live the other day, and oh my gosh, y'all, out of nowhere, they were eating. Her baby, y'all, put something in his mouth, and I think she was on live, not really paying attention. And when she looked over, she jumped and she said, "Oh my God, it's a dead lizard!" And I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" Like, she was literally scared. I don't think it was a prank. I don't think she was playing, but she looked like it was for real, okay? Because she had jumped. And so, y'all, when I tell you, I was so nervous because he's a young baby. I think he's what, 6, 7 months. And hey, Alicia, hey, sis, thank you for joining. And y'all, I was so nervous. I'm like, oh my goodness. So her husband comes to Brett, he came in and tried to help her, get the baby and get it from the baby because she was scared. And naturally, a lot of women, y'all know, we are afraid of insects, bugs, all of that. So I understood. But I'm like, come on, girl, let that mama bear kick in, get your baby. you know. And so the baby started grabbing the food she was eating. I'm like, Lord, please don't let this baby get choked and so forth. So I don't even know if she took the baby to the hospital. I really don't know. I don't know, as a precaution, I would probably have had him checked out, just to make sure, because even with babies, their systems, you have to ease certain food into their system, whether it's okay, let's start with formula, putting some cereal in the bottle, go from there, maybe baby food, soft foods, parade foods. Then we start giving them, little rice, little, more food with more substance. And so forth. And so I was just nervous. And so then the next live, I guess, I don't know if she thought it was funny. I didn't find it funny at all. I really, it was kind of a little scary to me. And really to be more aware of her children, especially that baby, even if you have a live going on. I know as educators, hi Rebecca, hi sis, thank you for joining. As educators, I've pretty much had to learn how to have eyes behind my head. Okay. Even though I'm not even in the classroom and I'm at home with my own children, I'm still paying attention to noises. Because if a child gets quiet for too long, something is going on. Okay. So you need to find out what's going on. If they get too quiet. And so when she came onto the next live, she kind of talked about that. And she was making light of it, calling him lizard baby. And I didn't find anything funny about that. But, hey, that's her child. And that particular live she was doing. Now, I was impressed. She could do a lot of gymnastics moves, and she was showing the stoves and so forth. And it was one point when she started out of nowhere talking about her, older two sons, their baby's dad, his wife, okay? Because he is married. And another content creator, and I forgot which one, because I like to shout out fellow content creators, had posted a post from the wife from Facebook. So, of course, baby, I go over to Facebook. I was like, what's that name? Let me follow the wife. You just got to sometimes follow people and see what's going on. Follow the trail. Okay. And so she was talking about her baby dad is about to get divorced. So I was like, wow, interesting, And so I went over to, and I'm not going to show this lady's name and things like that, because people could go to her page and start flooding her and things like that. So I'm not going to show that. But I went over to her page. And so 2 days ago, I think this would have been like right before she talked about on her live about her first baby's, her first two children's dad getting a divorce. She was like, oh, I'm going to write a book. We're going to talk about her mom has a book. I'm going to write a book and tell it all and so forth. Hey, Dee, thank you for joining, sis. And so on one of the posts, she said, this is the wife. She said, instead of celebrating what would be our 6-year wedding anniversary, we're actually adjusting to 5 months separated, pending divorce. And I believe we're doing pretty well. Not all separations are traumatic. Through these past few months, I've adjusted to no longer being codependent and so much more about myself. When you pray and set boundaries and God do what he do, there's literally no questioning it. In life, you learn. You get what you get and don't pitch a fit. I'm truly thankful for my marriage and all the things I learned from it. Nothing bad to say except life happens. I'm adjusting to being a single mom of 4 beautiful babies, and I know we'll be just fine with our village. So after Rose said what she said, on her live. Now, a day ago, the lady comes back and she says, let's not forget, I had a hoe, okay, a hoe miserable for nearly 8 years because I married her baby daddy. Yesterday was the first time a B, I'm not going to say that curse word, genuinely smiled in years because I chose to mention the separation. Don't let me and him worry you, because if I say, let's work it out right now, you'll be back in the hole. Keep it cute because I'm turning it up a notch. I'm feeling frisky. Oh my God. And then I was like, wait a minute. Now, in the comment section, she said, I'm sorry, y'all. It's just like a hoe I beat up at the gas station in front of her kids. Baby daddy needs Shell gas station employees, customers, then married her baby daddy and forced that hoe on a bus back to California. Can't and won't ever embarrass me. And then her children's father said in the comments under that, facts though. I was like, oh Lord, this is about to go a different way. I'm like, she waking up the beast now. She gotta kind of turn, some of that down because it's, we don't want to make them mad. So they get frisky. Okay. So I don't know where that's going to go. So that post was yesterday. I don't think anything has been stated since then. Okay. So we'll see. But that's where that conversation came from out of the blue the other day. Now, also, as I was going through YouTube, I came upon this interview with her mom. Okay, her mom's name is Janarda M. That's the initial of her last name and her channel. And then she did the interview with a content creator by the name of Benji AdSense. Now, I did put his contact information, like his channel information, in the chat if you would like to watch the interview in its entirety. However, tonight we will watch a few short clips from that interview and kind of talk about and react to some things that she stated. As y'all listen to this, you will start to see that there were some cycles that were created, okay, from not just her mom, but it goes back a generation. And so a lot of times, and we even talked about generational curses and blessings on this channel before, that you will find yourself kind of trying to conquer some things that were already set in place from previous generations. Okay. And just like there are generational cycles and curses, there are also generational blessings. Okay. Now, a couple of things that her mom said before I get into the short snippets, because I didn't want to go this far back on the video snippets. But she said that she wrote 2 versions of her book. And right now she has the ebook. If you would like to purchase it, it is available on Amazon. Okay. Hey, Cherry. Good evening, sis. Thank you for joining. She wrote 2 versions of her book because she didn't want to offend her mom with some details, and she did not want to offend her sister with some details. She said that even before she put the book out, she sent the whole book to her sister to read. But I guess certain things, because when you do write a book, it's kind of a courtesy to see how in depth the other party wants you to go when it's not just your life. Now, some things, hey, like when she talked about the abuse and things like that, but when it involves like other people, their part in it, so she's probably just giving them that courtesy. She talked about situation where she was allegedly SA'd at an early age of 14. Very sensitive topic. She even said this on the live or the interview where a lot of times with even serious situations, she pretty much will laugh, because I've seen some people kind of joke about certain things and that can get misconstrued like they're not taking it seriously. But she said that she likes to make peace instead of pretty much crying at the very situation she's been through. Because if you notice during the interview, now it was some moments when she had the interview with Rose where Mama, okay, was rearing up. Even at the end of this interview, she started getting upset. You can see it in her face that she does not play. Okay, she professes her love for God and her relationship for God with God and so forth. And she's always smiling and things of that sort. But I also see another side where she's not going to be played with. Okay. And it also made me think to myself, because she held back on some things, okay, and really did not talk about a lot of things. I wondered, was there some unhealed trauma in her? Okay, because some of the things she talked about, her mom being very strict, okay, and her grandmother. And so I'm wondering, was there an outlet for her to get help back then? Because remember, we have to sometimes take things to their roots. Even with my mom, there were certain things that her mother, my grandmother, would not put up with. Or they, a certain generation, they just didn't believe in, okay, let me go take you to therapy, or let's talk about certain emotions and feelings that you have, because they didn't have it. So right around that particular generation, she probably did have a mother that was very strict, and she probably didn't want to talk about some of the feelings that she was getting and so forth. That's just my opinion on that. She did talk about her mom was sending her to go and live with her father at the age of 14 in Ohio. Now, she said that her father was had an older rich lady that he was married to. And the lady was, very protective of her husband. And her mom did say, she had a great relationship with her dad. However, she stated, allegedly, this is based off of her words, that the lady was jealous. And she said that she told her that she would have to go and stay with her grandmother, which was her dad's mom, and come and visit them, because she didn't want the daughter there, because she wanted all of the attention. Okay. She was very jealous. And she said that the lady told her that. So that put a little wedge between her and her father's relationship. If y'all can see this, then we hear of sometimes how Rose had to go from her house to the father's house as well, and was going back and forth. So notice how some of these things parallel with each other. I believe that, based off of this book, now I haven't read the whole book in its entirety, but some of the things as I skimmed through and some of the things that I read, I believe that her mom did put this book out to show how she was able to go through a domestic violence situation and come out. She also put scriptures in there, some helpful tips, and so forth. And I also, in a weird way, I would say, I also believe that Rose is trying to attempt to break a cycle. Okay, I know that sounds crazy, but I feel that she's not doing it in a healthy or right way. I think in her mind, this is my opinion, that she moved to separate herself from everyone. Okay, her and her family, to separate herself, thinking that if I move, I can get away from it all. I can not think about it. Nobody has to think about me. Me and my family, we're going to be over here. I don't have to worry about what they're doing. They don't have to watch me. They don't have to be all up in my business. However, I did not know that. I mean, she probably did not think that that video, because she's been on YouTube. They've been in the forefront, but a lot of the new attention on their family came from when that video went viral. Okay. So then it started waking up some other things. Okay, here comes mom. Okay, now here comes baby, her first I don't like saying baby's daddy, but you know, her older two sons, father, okay, his wife. All of this is starting to come, you know, people are starting peeking out, okay? And we're hearing more from them. Oh, thank you so much, Aries Black. Woo woo! Thank you, sis, for that super sticker, my first of the night. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, so I want to show clip one of this interview. Okay.
We went out, and then after that we went to the store. Like, it was a little like convenience store, like a little side store. And he was in the store, and he was like, what do you want out of the store? And I'm like, the stuff that I got in the line, because we were on the line. He was like, I'll get you whatever you want out of the store. He was like, get whatever you want. And I'm thinking, okay. So my cousin like, girl, we need this. We need that. I'm like, whatever. I'm cool with just.
Okay, and let me just say this part. This is pretty much, she's taking us back. I should have said this first. In this clip, she's taking us back to when she first then met Rose's dad. Okay.
Listen, I'm good. So he paid for my food or whatever. And then he was like, can I get your number? And I was like, I was like, mm-mm.
You're like 19?
Yeah.
And how old is he?
He's just like 4 years older. He wasn't that much older than me. I think he was like 5 years older than me. So Rose's dad is like 4 or 5 years older than me. So he was like, you want whatever you want out the store, whatever. So I said, yeah, whatever. So I got what I had to get, and then he was like, can I have your number? And I said, no. I said, you can give me your number, because I wasn't even sure if I was going to call him. He wasn't quite my type.
Why you say that?
The guy I was dating, the guy I had the kids with before, he was not. He looked a little different. I don't care.
So your first kid's daddy was a looker, and Rose's daddy, you was just like, whatever, nigga, but you got some money, so give me your number.
No.
That's what it was?
No. No, what it was my people that I was with. She was like, girl, if he gonna buy you anything out of the store,
right.
You know he gonna take care of your kids. You know he gonna make you straight. You need some help. You working these 2 jobs. You falling asleep coming home from work.
And see, that's the thing. As I read this book, it seemed like the people in Ohio, that's all that was.
That's all they cared about.
Yeah, that's all they cared about. And you like, I live in California where we see like, this
like
is normal.
all the time. Exactly. And I'm like,
yeah.
So I was hesitant, and she told me, she was like pressing me, like, you should call him. Ain't you tired of working these 2 jobs? Ain't you tired? So I said, she was like, he might be nice. And I was like, he looked kind of rough. He looked, whatever. So I went on and called him. We talked on the phone. And then he, like, literally, we talked for a few days, and he was like, I love you. I was like, that's a red flag. That's a red flag, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. You talk on the phone for somebody for a few days and they tell you they love you, there's something wrong. Because I definitely didn't love him. And it wasn't even love at first sight. You know what I'm saying? Because love at first sight, you know how when you just meet somebody, like, oh God, like,
yeah, it's just
that attraction, like
butterfly synergy. Like, you got that, yeah.
The guy that I'm with now, it was like literally when I first saw him, we go way back from 2010, like a long time ago, right? And when I first saw him, I was like,
yeah,
that's mine.
Yeah, I feel you.
But I felt a little bit more connected.
Do you feel like you're just, maybe because we're like Cancer, that you're just romantic like that? Like you believe in like
romantic that? Though.
Yeah. Okay, me too.
I'm super lovey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm naturally a lovable type of person. But anyway, so
So during that time, Rose pretty much told Rose's mom, I should say, Miss Jornarder, she told us that Rose's dad is like 5 years older than her. And she said at first she wasn't really attracted to him. And hold on one second. I apologize. But you know how like you see someone and you're like, okay, not a looker, but he trying to pay for my food. She was with one of her girlfriends, and was trying to pay for her food, and the little friends like whispering, hey, girl, she was in my bed, take care of your kids, your kids, and stuff. So you start second guessing. Do I go with the looks or do I go with the status? Okay. I was like, oh my goodness. And so when she said that, that is a real topic because some women will sacrifice looks, okay, if they could get the money and the status. Y'all already know, Aries, okay. We've seen it. Okay, we've seen it. And so even going back, let me go back to the book part. There was a part in here when she talked about, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't want to just sit here and read her book. I know people trying to make their coins, okay? So I'm paraphrasing some things she said around this time. So she said that Rose's dad really liked her because a lot of women did, although her friend was trying to coax her into getting with him because of money. And I'm on another screen, so if anyone comes in, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm not really looking at the chat right now, but he liked her because she was independent. She talked about the fact that she was taught to work. She said that it was even hard when she was out there to even get vouchers or live on food stamps and things like that because she was raised, if you need it, go out there and work. And so he was drawn to that because she didn't ask for things. Usually people will give you things, okay? Because it's like, well, you don't want me because it is. And so I'm just going to look out for you and do that. She said that he said, I was not a gold digger, just looking to take all of his money. And he liked that about me, okay? And he felt that she would be a good person to have, the team with. Now, he had invited her to live with him. Y'all, this part of the story really tripped me out. She did not realize that when she went to go live with him, she found out that his children's mother lived in a house downstairs from his own mother. And she said to him, how was I supposed to move in with you if you were living with another woman? And she said, of course, he said that they were over. And he explained that one day he walked into a barber shop, okay? And the guys were playing a videotape of a woman having X, y'all know, with the customer. That woman on the videotape was his woman, his kid's mother. And so he had found out that she was cheating and he just did not want to put her out, with his children because she didn't really have nowhere to go. So that's why he let her live downstairs, okay, until I guess she found somewhere to go. And she said she believed him. And she said that was actually one of the things that he did not lie about. I was like, wait a minute. That would have been a red flag for me. Okay. That would have been a red flag. OMG. You already have somebody staying here, and how both of us gonna live here? Okay. That would have definitely been a red flag. And she talks about, ignoring red flags because sometimes in relationships, you will see some things and we kind of ignore it because we want the relationship to work. And so she was transparent in sharing that there were some situations where there were red flags and she ignored them. Um, let's see. She also talked about in that part, they were staying at this extended stay hotel, and she had already seen a few red flags, but she said this was another incident that she remembered him getting like really angry. Okay. After she had questioned him about his children's mother. And she said that they had chicken, macaroni, salad, and greens that they had just purchased. And y'all, he threw all of the food across the room at her. And she said that in that moment, she had never seen that side of him before. And she questioned, should I leave him? And she was going to get ready to leave him. But as she was getting her things to leave, he grabbed her and said that he was sorry. And he said that he just did not like hearing about his ex-wife. She said that he would make up to her by doing and saying all of the right things. And she was comfortable um, there, because you have to consider, once you start having someone to help take care of things, I believe that really, really was played a factor. But she said that she did see these red flags and she was quick to forgive, despite some of the things that she saw early on. Let me see. And also, a lot of the money that he had allegedly was because of his parents. They owned houses, had assets, and things of that sort. So a lot of that came, from his parents. And of course, he worked hard too. All right, so let me show our clip number 2. And this talks about one of the abuse encounters.
Well, I'm gonna leave for a little while. I'll be right back. I was like, okay, cool. I said, but if I go to Las Vegas, those strings attached. He's like, no, I just want to take you out. You're beautiful. I want to hang out. I was like, okay, cool. And that's what he did. He didn't try anything or anything. So he left, and then he didn't come back to the next day. I woke up like, wait. So then he came back. I'm like, what's going on? So anyway, he had paid for the daycare and all of that. We ended up going to Las Vegas, and we had a really good time, actually. And I thought he was like everything. I'm like, okay, this is the guy. Like, he's Romeo. You know what I'm saying? And then boom. Everything went left. Everything went left. So
pretty lady, what's up?
So he started being possessive, over the top.
And this morning when I texted you, I had just finished reading the book. The abuse was like on another level. I don't care what nobody says. Like, you can change a little bit, but he's supposed to be a pastor now. Mm-hmm. Nobody changes that much. People do change, they make improvements, but nobody.
Hi, Brittany.
I've never met nobody that changes, that goes from.
And he did bring up a good point. Like, after all of this, when they divorced and moved on with their lives, did that pastor ever get help? Because just to say, oh, I'm not going to abuse anymore, is a person really healed? Okay, yes, God does help us, and he delivers us. I truly believe in that. But I'm wondering, was there a situation where it came out again? We never will probably know that. And so I was just curious about that. Was there some form of therapy for even him?
The person that you described in that book to what people are saying now. And so it's hard for me to understand why Rose doesn't have more of an understanding or compassion. And I would invite Rose to come on my channel to express her point of view, and to even in the book, he mollywopped you and stumped you like he was a dude.
Yeah, he definitely beat me pretty bad.
One time he stumped you with a steel-toe boot. The time when you were in the kitchen with the gravy and all that stuff. I'm even that, like the part, this man slept with your cousins, multiple cousins, friends that you invited from California.
Yeah. So one thing led to another. I started seeing red flags, put it that way. Red flags was, like I said, it was mental, emotional, and physical abuse. I started seeing things like I would ask him about certain situations. When we had an encounter, the very first encounter we had, and we were at the hotel because we were waiting to get into our place. We were moving into a place together. He threw some food and stuff like that on me because I asked him a question, and then I kind of was like, oh no, I can't do this. That was a red flag right there. Like you throwing food on me. Like I only been knowing you for a couple months because I'm asking a question. I knew he had some type of temper and he needed help, and I said, why are you acting like this? Oh, it's just because I just don't want you to not trust me. That's how it started. And I was like, and then he wheeled me in. See, he always used to wheel me in by being super nice and sweet after he do something really messed up. You know what I'm saying? So every single time, anything that we ever went through where like I mentioned in the book, how he drowned me in the water, chased me down the street, beat me up and all of that, like he would, the next day he would like spend all that time with me and try to like show me love and buy me all kinds of stuff and take me out to dinner, not just buy me stuff, spend time with me and everything. And in my heart I used to be like, it never really helped. I really used to be like, I gotta get out of this.
Wow. Whew. Yeah, that part. Oh my goodness. I was like, and she's going to even talk about how when the abuse had happened, she would even say, let's go in another room to protect her children from seeing some of the things. Um, she talked about the food situation. There was another situation she described in her book where she was at the grocery store and she needed a ride back home. And so she had called him, but he was too busy and could not come to get her. So she said that, she would call a friend for a ride. And he was like, jealous, according to her, and was like, are you going to call a man for a ride? And she was like, no, I'm not going to call a man, but she needed a ride. So he sent his cousin to pick her up. And the cousin, was a guy, of course, and got home. And so she said that she heard him when he came home, he ran upstairs. She was about to go downstairs. And she said that when he ran up the stairs, that's when she brought up that steel toe boot. He had on some Timberlands on. And so when she was about to go out, he caught sight of her, and she said that he swung his leg all the way back and brought it forward straight into her shin. And she said that there were guts of meat, y'all, trigger. There were guts of meat splattering in all directions. I'm just saying how she described it. She said that she was 5'2", okay, slim, petite, and he was 6 feet and husky. And she said it was a kind of pain, was something that she had never felt before. She was screaming and hollering, and he just stood there watching her in pain. He didn't even take her to the hospital. She said that she had never been in a fight with anyone before and felt that much pain. And as she hollered, he just acted as if he did not care. Um, and so she said that she was just shocked to see how cold-hearted he was. They had a family together, business, and she really didn't want to stress over, taking care of the kids alone with no father. Remember, I said that going back, especially if you know that you have multiple children. And I think that was sometimes something that kept bringing her back and not letting her go. According, to this book, and in my opinion, she said these were feelings of a young woman that was bruised mentally and physically. That was her first time seeing his temper come out like that. But unfortunately, it wouldn't be the last. Whew, y'all, I was like, man, I know that was hard. Yeah, Shelly, I know that part was hard. But the good news is excuse me, she eventually did get out. Okay. And y'all, this kind of reminded me of this kind of reminded me, y'all remember that scene on What's Love Got to Do with It? And Tina had she finally made her escape with her children. She was on the bus. They had stopped. She took one to the restroom, the other one on the bus. She came back, and lo and behold, the kids were gone. She looked, and there was like, sometimes you try to get out, you try to go anywhere you can to get out. Okay. Especially if you've been in an abusive relationship or going through an abusive relationship, whatever it takes to get away, you have to do that. So she kind of talks about the escape in this clip.
Worst dudes I ever met in my life. Period. Was he a provider? Yes. Did he take care of his kids? Yes. But was he crazy? Oh, wow.
So there was a point where you go to this sports event. It was your son, your oldest son. What kind of event was this again?
My son's football game.
Okay, a football game. There's a part in the book where you go to your son's football game and you have like two of your boys, right?
Yeah.
And so where were the other children at during that time?
They were at my ex-husband's mom's house.
And so was Rose one of those children that was at the house?
Mm-hmm. They just spent the night. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's a point that I'm making. So trust me, I get what you're going. So who was at the house? Rose and your oldest daughter?
Rose. Four of my daughters
were at the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had your two boys. Right. So when you tried to finally decide to get away from all this extensive abuse, you left him at the gas station.
Yeah.
You left him at the gas station.
I drove off in the car and left him.
Right. You drove off in the car and left him at the gas station. And he called his mother and told his mother, don't bring
the kids downstairs. Don't give them to Janarda. She's on her way. Don't give them to her.
But you told her, well, you have to give me my oldest daughter because my oldest daughter doesn't belong to him.
Exactly.
So you had your two boys and your oldest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually your mom, she came through. Came through. She sent you some money and you just got in the car and you drove to California.
I drove all the way from Ohio, 2,000 miles.
You had your two sons and your oldest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so you had Rose and another girl still in Ohio, right?
Yeah, he wouldn't let them come downstairs to get in the car with me because I would like all of them to just go.
Do you feel like Rose is resentful because of that day? Because that day that you had to just try to get away and you got away with the kids that you could get away with. It wasn't like you was trying to leave the kids. It was doing the best that you could. Do you feel like the reason that you and Rose have issues today is because of that day or not? Huh?
I feel like Rose has issues with the whole situation because she thought she was living a happy suburban life with her mother and her father in a huge house with cars and all the suburban kids, and she thought that she never knew what was going on behind closed doors. So when we got divorced, it was extremely devastating to Rose because all she knew was her mother and her father, her kids, gymnastics, and her life. She didn't know none of that. And she was only
How old was Rose at the time?
She was about 8 years old.
She never witnessed any of this abuse?
My oldest daughter knew that it was abuse because she was the oldest and she was very alert and attentive. So when she'd see a cut or a bash or a knot or a black eye, she'd be like, what happened to you? And then I'll be like, oh, I bumped my head on the counter or something like that. And she'll be like, first she would be looking crazy. Then one day she was like, you're not telling me the truth. That's not true. I heard you last night. Like, I always kept my personal life private. I never wanted the world and people, and that worked. That did not work in my favor because when I left, a lot of people, including if my kids could have saw him beating on me, if everybody, I would run in the room real quick and close the door. I didn't want them to hear it. Like, okay, fight me in here, like not in front of the kids because I never saw that as a kid. I never saw fighting and
you
all.
tried to protect your kids and you hid so much.
And it did not work in my favor. It worked
Right.
all the way against me because when I left, everybody was like, why did she leave?
Wow. And I can understand that. Like, a lot of people, or women, I should say, that probably go through this, or even if it's not domestic violence, if there have been like some problems in a marriage, sometimes parents try to hold, protect their children or hold a lot of that from them where they don't see it. So if something does happen, though, they're shocked. So now it shows when we went back or think back to that video where she said, oh, I think she was talking to her friend that day, and she was like, no, I love my dad. My dad is a great dad and provided and did XYZ. Yes, that's what she saw growing up. According to her mom, she didn't see a lot of the behind the scenes things that were taking place between him and her mom. So then imagine the shock that comes when immediately we're breaking up and you're like, well, why? What happened? And now my life is turned upside down. I'm going here, I'm going here, I'm going here. And that can make a child question things. I go back to what's love got to do with it again. Y'all remember when Tina's mom was getting abused and she took Tina's sister. She didn't take Tina. Tina stayed with her grandmother. Well, notice when she tried to have that conversation with her mom about why didn't you take me, her mom was kind of shutting that conversation down because that was some type of confusion and animosity that can be built between two people, that the child and the parent. And I even read an article recently where Tina Turner did an interview, and she said that her mom did not like her. Okay, she didn't. And she said that even throughout their years, she provided for her mom. She still loved her and things like that. But her mom really did not like her. And I really don't know why she felt like that. And then even if you think about it, when Tina did try to escape, her mama was the one to tell Ike. Okay. I was like, man, that's like an ultimate betrayal right there. So she tried to protect her children, according to her, as much as she could, and try to, hide them from the abuse that was taking place. Now, this last little clip is like some extras of her, what she would say to Rose if she had the chance to, and so forth. Is some other things that will come out in this clip.
This book, hopefully somebody can read it, relate to it, and be like, you know what? I can find the strength. And at the end of the book, I go on to tell you different ways. I meditate. I'm a vegan. I work out. I changed my life. And I've been through a lot of ups and downs since I left him. But at the end, it still was worth it. I don't care what I went through. It was worth it compared to being with him and not happy.
Janarda, before we end, is there anything that you would like to say to Rose?
Oh, I absolutely love Rose. I love Rose, and I'm very proud of some of the things that Rose has going on. I wish that we can establish a good relationship and she can leave the past behind. Me and my mom didn't have the best relationship throughout our whole life, but the way we hang out, you would never know it because I can leave all of that behind. We only have one life and it's short. I need my mother. I need my mother's love. And, I feel like Rose needs me. Her kids need me. Kids need their mother's love. So all of that crap, you left my dad, but the lies, I'm not okay with. The lies, defamation of character, keep it. If you're gonna tell the story, tell it right. But other than that, I love my daughter, and no matter how evil she is to me and whatever she does to me, I can forgive Rose and move on and have a good relationship with Rose if she'll let me. And I have tried. I've tried numerous occasions to have a good relationship with her, but
what is the longest period of time that Rose has actually lived with you?
Oh shoot, long time. 9th, 10th, 11th. She was in the night, and then a dog for about 10 years.
Yeah. Oh, so she lived with you for like 10 years straight.
Yeah, she lived in after she
wow.
She came to California when she was in high school in the 9th grade, and she stayed. Before that, she lived in California with me for a couple years. Actually, so when I came out here with them, with the three kids the two boys and my daughter, I ended up taking my younger son back to Ohio with his dad because his dad was threatening to kill me, my son, because he just wanted to have a hold of some of the kids because he knew that would make me come back around. I'm never going to just desert my kids. So he dangled the kids and he kept the kids. He wouldn't let me keep all of them. I said, just let me keep all my kids and give me child support. He didn't want to do that. He said, no, we're going to split them up. So I signed off to do 3 and 3. And so then they would just come back and forth, back and forth.
If Rose continues to tell stories or talk about you, how do you plan to deal with that?
Well, it depends on how severe the lies get, because that lie she told about her stepbrother, nobody in the family. Oh God. So yeah, the lies is bad enough, but when you lying as if I did something so severe as to do something with my stepson, that right there, that can make me go to court, literally. So she got to stop playing with it. She has to stop playing with it, because that right there, I'm trying to be a mother. I'm trying to be cool about it. But when you're lying that to that extent, I can take it a step further, because that's defamation.
Besides having just anxiety, does Rose have a mental disorder?
Rose has anxiety, and Rose, she flips out. She flips out. She can, and that's the thing. She can be real cool one minute, and I love hanging out with Rose. Sometimes we'll go and do. I don't know why she'd be lying to y'all. We'll go and do mother-daughter stuff, get our nails and stuff done, have our little mimosas and all of that. And then the next, like, it could be the next.
But you know what? That is a good point, though. Some things that she's saying, Rose has said also, even about the anxiety. She even talked about that on her own live, about 3 and 3. She talked about that the other day with 3 children went here, 3 children went there. So she did talk about that too. They are, sharing the same story in that matter.
Rose will flip out.
Do you like Brett? It's either yes or no. No, girl. No.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. When Rose was about to get married to Brett, she called me and she said, "Mom, I don't know. Should I marry Brett? A lot of people that on the internet and everybody saying, you're supposed to be with a black man, this, that, and the third." And I told her like this. I said, it's not about color. Do you love him? Is he treating you right? That's what it's about. I said, if you love him, and Brett is very patient. That's what I love about Brett. He's patient when it comes to Rose. Nobody can deal with Rose, not even her first husband. I like Brett, but I don't like the way Brett does everything for Rose like a little puppy nowadays. I don't like the puppy Brett.
Why don't you like that about this man that's like bowing down to your daughter?
No, he can bow down to her, but don't go along with her lies. Like, I think everyone's been telling me that he hasn't been. They were like, she tried to get Brett to tell a lie about you, and Brett was like, he didn't, and that's why she got mad, because she wanted Brett to lie and say all these things about me.
Brett cheated on Rose?
I don't know. I'm not in a business like that. I heard some things.
What you
heard? Oh my goodness. So y'all, that was a good interview. I think she does sometimes hold back. And that's her daughter. And she's shown even on her own community wall that she cares for Rose. I know that they have issues. A lot of parent daughters have issues. So hopefully they'll work through their issues, get through this. But her mom's book, Breaking the Cycles, is available on Amazon. I put it in the chat. And also Benji AdSense, that's the guy on there that you see that did the full interview. You can go to his channel to see it in its entirety. But I feel that Rose needs her mother. And when I say that part, or if not her mom, some type of mother figure or mentor to help her and to guide her with how to take care of her children. Just even if she gets a mom group, okay? on some things because I know we see and witness a lot. And some things she just may not know. Not making excuses because some stuff you just got to watch your kids. Okay. You can't just be so into, the internet and on YouTube and so forth and not paying attention. But some things, some people just don't know. Yes, sis, watch that full interview. Brittany said, yeah, Mr. To Dreamy Girl, I have to go and watch the replay. Yes. Queen said, I've been listening since I don't follow the story closely, but that was actually a decent interview. Yes, it really was. So those of you who want to see it in its entirety, you can watch it on that channel. But I'm looking forward to seeing if the cycles is actually broken because people are going to watch that. Will it continue? Because now it's the next generation. Okay. And so making it full circle, let me work now with my daughter on our relationship. And that takes time. It's not an overnight process. It does take time. But sometimes, I noticed with both of them on that live that day, someone has to stop and be the grown up and listen. Okay. We both can't overtalk each other. Okay. There has to be some humility, some transparency, some forgiveness. It is going to take work. Okay. Because look at the layers, y'all. This story, and I've said this, has layers. It has a lot of different layers. And just, to see even her mom kind of making an appearance back into her life, hopefully it shows her something. And it seems like her mom would be open to it. But if you're going to lie, okay, I think she has a problem with that. And I also have a problem with people lie on me. Do not lie to me and don't lie on me. Okay. It's hard to get past that barrier. And she said that some of the other family members, according to her, allegedly don't get along with Rose because of that, the attitude and things like that. And even on the live sometimes, she'll do some fun things. And I think she says she's socially awkward. That comes out and people are turned off by the attitude, the behavior, when people are trying to give constructive feedback and so forth. I think that that's something to think about too. So it is going to take, yes, Aries is going to take work for sure. But yeah, I was like, man, just to see the parallels between the two of how the cycles are starting and then what work is being done to actually break the cycles. Okay. But shout out to her mom, Janarda M. You're always welcome here to discuss your book here at the Open Book. That's what we do here. You're welcome, Rose. You're also welcome. If you happen to hear this, you're welcome to come on as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining tonight. Make sure you hit the like button. And also, I would like to give a special shout out again to my sis, Aries Black, for that super sticker. Thank you, sis. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you coming here to being a part of the Open Book. Hopefully, everyone has a fantastic evening. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell because you never know when I'm going to go live. Thank you all so much for joining and have a blessed evening. Goodbye.